It has been so long since the Flames had a main character on the national junior team. I would argue the last one might have been Dylan Dubé in Buffalo, but this feels completely different. Dubé was just the captain. Parekh is the offensive defenseman on this team. With that said, there's some things to clean up. I'm Jake, I can't skate, and this is a World Junior Game Day recap. It's that time of year, and I absolutely love this tournament, so we're gonna be doing these on top of the regular Flames videos. Hope you like them. There's Flames connections all over this team too. It was the opening game of World Juniors, and defensive coverage should be a point of emphasis at practice and video sessions for probably the rest of the tournament. But you can put it in the win column. Canada wins 7-5 over Czechia, or the Czech Republic if you like, and Zayne Parekh is the player of the game. That's right, the Z of Red on his temporary sabbatical from the Calgary Flames showed why we still need to be excited about this player. Oh yeah, and I guess that line of McKenna, Hage, and Brady Martin's pretty good too. In fact, the first period, for the most part, was the story of that line, because early on, they put their work boots on and do some good forechecking, and Brady Martin makes it 1-0 on a beautiful pass from Gavin McKenna. That line's gonna be very good in this tournament. But a few minutes later, we see the start of what would be a theme for the rest of the night. Thomas Politine with a deflection in the high slot. We'll get back to that. Makes it 1-1. Luckily, 30 seconds later, that McKenna, Hage, and Martin line goes back to work, and Michael Hage makes it 2-1, and that's how it would stay after a decent first period from Canada. In fact, it was pretty good. It was miles better than most of the periods they had in Ottawa last year. Trust me, I know. I was there. And then we run into the period with the most issues. And they were issues that existed in the first period slightly. But puck management and defensive coverage really set up to roost for this game in the second period. Wojtek Char scores to tie the game early in the second, and the biggest thing I can say is that seam passes absolutely need to be a focus in defensive coverage, because all night, no matter which defensive pair was on the ice, but a lot of times, unfortunately, when it was Zayne, people were getting lost in coverage, and they were getting lost in coverage in the high slot, which is not where you want to lose people. And for most of the second period, the effort dropped off from the first, and the defensive coverage lapses became more and more numerous. And with just under 8 minutes to go, Peter Sikora, or Sikora, we called him Sikora last year. I think they switched his pronunciation to Sikora on TSN because he requested not to have the same pronunciation as the famous Peter Sikora. Pots it to give the Czechs the lead on yet another play where he shouldn't be as wide open as he was, and Carter George is sort of left to try and bail out the team. And he did sometimes, but you can't really blame him even for giving up 5 yesterday because the D does need to be better. Fortunately, with about 3 minutes to go in second, Zayne Parekh absolutely rips one, and this will be a theme. He's walking all over the zone. He's taking all kinds of shots. He looks like the guy we thought we were getting. He's gonna make mistakes, but he needs a longer leash in Calgary because he's such a dynamic player. On TSN yesterday, they were comparing his release to Connor Bedard. That's how good it is. Goalie has no chance. Top corner. 3-3 after 2. And it remains Zayne Parekh's show for a good chunk of the rest of this game. In fact, early in the third, Zayne gets a pass on the power play around the top of the circle, dances around a bit, and rips another one. It's another quick release right into the top corner. It's another beaut. I was hoping for a hat-trick the rest of the night, but we didn't get it. What we got was a extremely entertaining finish to this game. Unfortunately, that meant Zayne didn't end up with the game winner, but he did have 2 goals and was named player of the game. But 5 minutes into the period, Thomas Politine, again this time putting in some garbage from a scramble in front of the net. Game is tied at 4, and that's the last time the Czechs would be in a position to really scare Canada. They tried to make it a little bit fun at the end, but more Flames connections because some kid named Iginla gives Canada back the lead, walking in and just ripping one. He worked really well with Michael Misa yesterday. Also got to point out Ethan McKenzie, who got an assist on Teja's goal. He's been through 2 drafts and not been selected, and the way he played yesterday, I'm fascinated by that. I'm also fascinated because on a team packed with first-round talent, one of the best players on the night was an undrafted player who's been through 2 drafts. Shows up on the scoreboard again a few minutes later, this time doing himself, past the blue line, walks it in, bang! It's 6-4, and he's got a goal and an assist. Unfortunately, we couldn't quite fix all of our defensive issues because Thomas Galvis, the defenseman, pinching in, gets another one of those same kind of passes, finishes it off. It's 6-5 with 4.5 minutes left. Czechs pull their goalie, but 7 seconds after they do, on what looks like you drew it up on a chalkboard, Porter Mortone walks it in. It's 7-5, and what a game to start the tournament. Was it perfect for Canada? No. They have to fix their defensive structure, and they need to manage the puck better. But it's absolutely great to see a Canadian team that can score again. The team in Ottawa last year that I had the unfortunate pleasure of seeing play every day had a total of 13 goals in the entire tournament. They have 7 through one game against maybe their toughest pool competition. Finland will have an argument there, of course, but it's so refreshing to see an offensive-minded team that's able to finish their chances. You're never the best you're gonna be on Boxing Day. You want to be the best you're gonna be starting around New Year's Eve and into the playoff rounds. But, like I was saying to my family and friends yesterday, that's 1 down and 6 to go, and there was lots of Flames flavor to it too. Do all the YouTube things. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And go Canada!